A thread by Thomas Wichter at social.quadvirum.com. Hat tip Beth Clark. Link to the latest J.E. Dyer article on Trump turning the defeat into a victory on the election. I have a lot to say about two very simple points. First, the article at libertyunyielding.com, Trump's operational finale won't be the 2020 election intel assessment. Now, Dyer is a former naval intelligence analyst, so she thinks that way. Much of that article doesn't interest me. Here are my two very simple points. One, Trump is acting as though he's going to have a second term. Two, the only people Trump can trust with the evidence are in the Pentagon. The best thing I ever did as a brain exercise was to collect World War I photos. It taught me that when it comes to certain subjects, what seems to be true is always true. Trump is acting as though he's going to have a second term because he will have a second term. And it was American Special Operations Forces who got the evidence of the election theft. Trump completely bypassed the intelligence community. I've written several threads about how small special operations teams used massively advanced technology to collect the evidence they needed. Trump has his own intelligence analysts, so there was no need to involve the corrupt intelligence community. In collecting World War I postcards, I saw things that I knew were significant. Nobody else had ever noticed them. So when I brought them up, people dismissed them out of hand. The dismissals made no sense whatsoever. People were wedded to conventional notions, so they came up with outrageously stupid and convoluted explanations for how they were right and I was wrong. There was no reason to reject my ideas, but they rejected every single idea I had. When I realized that World War I forums were useless, I stopped going to them. Little by little, I proved myself right about every single idea I'd ever had. The arguments were over uniforms, equipment, and weapons. Only one mystery remains. 4 nations used the German steel helmet of 1916. Why did assault troops of all 4 countries wear that helmet backward? The answer has to be that wearing the helmet backward improved vision. The visor of the 1916 helmet was very large. When the Turks adopted the helmet, they cut off the visor and much of the flared portion. And the newest American combat helmets have no visor at all. I was right about every other supposition I made when it came to World War I uniforms, equipment, and weapons, so I'm sure that I'm right about Trump. He's acting as though he'll have a second term because he will have a second term. And he used U.S. military special operations troops to gather the evidence of the election theft. That's why these troops now report directly to Acting Secretary of Defense Chris Miller, not their own commanders. All of this had to happen in order to finally wake up all Americans. Do you now see how fast we could have lost our freedom? Could have. Trump is certified on January 19th, and he's sworn in on January 20th. Until Trump tells us unambiguously that he lost, don't believe it. I will be doing a live stream, 8 p.m. Central Time tonight, and I hope you'll join me. Also, try to give money to quadvirum.com, social.quadvirum.com. The reason is that they've just had a giant influx of new users ever since, yesterday or the day before yesterday when Twitter banned everybody and everybody started fleeing to Gab, and then they took down Parler. And well, you know what happened. So hosting this site is pretty much done by Saul Montez Bradley. So any help that we can give him is definitely something we ought to do. So I believe the way to do it, I'll take us there right now. So you can donate to Quadvirum by the link How to Support Quadvirum under the toot window, or going here for you mobile users out there. Let's see. Sending money to, well, anyway, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's just look. QUODVERUM.com just to figure out how to donate money to Quadvirum. Let's see. Sidney Powell's closing statement. We're going to figure out how to do it here. Join the conversation. You too. Support us. Here we go. Quadvirum.com/support us. Here it is. So I'm going to donate myself, and you all should do the same thing too.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.